into the second hour of the experience with the display. And as I mentioned just before the traffic update, we're now going to continue our discussions here at the ICC, or rather ICT, inaugural ICT, last day of the ICT conference here at the ICC. Lots of CCs and I's to deal with. And we're now going to discuss the Dotafrica project. I have with me the director of Uniforum South Africa, Neil Dundas. Neil, good afternoon. Welcome to 2000.
Thanks, Ernest. Thanks for having me.
Tell us about the reason you're here, but I suppose before then, what the Dotafrica project is about.
The Dotafrica project is a new top-level domain project that we're launching in partnership with the African Union, and it's part of an international application process for new top-level domains.
Top-level domains. Let's get to the meat of it. I mentioned earlier we hear of .com, .org, .co.za. Would I be right to assume that you're looking at registering a Dotafrica domain? Is that it?
That's correct. So the .coms and the .orgs and .nets are all examples of top-level domains. So is ZA for South Africa. And what has happened is that the International Corporation for Assigned Numbers and Names has opened up an application process, and in that application process we're applying for a .Africa top-level domain.
And what are the benefits, Neil, of such an initiative? Why are you in pursuit of it?
Well, it's really an initiative that was started by the African Union in association with African governments and African stakeholder groups. And the benefits are really to create an African identity online, to sort of bring together the African community, to bring that community to the world, and obviously the world to that community on an online basis.
Right now, tell us about what are we missing out on operating in the way that we are operating, be it .org, .co.za. What are we missing out on?
Well, you know, what we found in the past is that the generic top-level domains like .com and .net have been, in simple terms, overpowering, and the country codes have not really stood up that well against it, which has resulted in a weak growth of country code top-level domains in Africa. We found that some of our colleagues in Asia who have started a geographic name like .asia, and people in Europe under .eu have made great strides in actually promoting their regions and their individual CCTLDs and the registrars, the ecosystem essentially in those areas. So we believe that by getting a geographic domain like .Africa, we're going to participate in those benefits that we've seen in .asia as well as .europe, .eu essentially.
And this is beyond just looking at benefits from an end user perspective. I would imagine you got a nod as well from the many ministers from the various African countries who are here at the ICT in Durban as well, because some of your objectives rather of establishing this domain is to interlink and facilitate better dialogue between the different governments on the African continent.
Yes, this project, because it's driven by the African Union, has resulted in a talking point, essentially a rallying point for African governments. So they've been stepping behind this, as has the African technical community and the African CCTLD community. And as you said, the benefits from this are not just end user benefits, and there are many of them. The real benefits are going to be, it's going to be a platform for us to create good standards, world-class systems. We're going to be using African know-how, African technology, and we're going to try and raise the standard together with our colleagues all over Africa who are running their own CCTLDs.
When are we looking at launching this?
The application process is an extensive evaluation process. It ends near the end of this year, and we should hear whether we're successful or not in the first quarter of 2013. And probably look at start allocating names around about April, May next year.
Or after you get the nod and correct a year or
yes,
so
there's an extensive evaluation process that's underway now, and it looks at whether you have the necessary governmental support in the region, whether you have the technical ability, financial, all of that has to be in place, and it's quite extensive, about 8 months worth of evaluation.
All right, Neil, we wish you all of the very best, linking Africa to the globe, and all of the very best. We certainly hope that this ICT will make those wishes a reality.
Thank you very much, Ernest.
All right, Neil Dundas is the director of Uniforum South Africa, looking at establishing an Africa-specific domain in the world of internet connectivity and bridging indeed the digital divide. All right, time to